Hi, I'm Leroy. Microsoft's next version of Windows, Windows 11, has leaked onto the internet. I've been using it for 24 hours now and I've been really enjoying the new user interface of the system, and I'm really intrigued by some of the new features, particularly around Xbox and gaming. Let me give you a walkthrough of the new system and let me show you how to install Windows 11, so when you get it in a few months' time or even in a year, and honestly it could be much sooner than that, you'll know exactly what to do. First things first, I want to make it very clear I do not recommend you find this version of Windows 11 and install it on your own computer. This was leaked online, it's a development build, and we do not know who leaked it, so there may be unsigned code in the operating system. Could be viruses, malware, we do not know, and it has not been checked. For that reason, I am running it in a virtual machine, and after this video, I do plan on discarding it and waiting for Microsoft's official announcement. When Windows 11 does get released, thankfully it'll be just as easy to install as Windows 10 was. Simply follow the on-screen prompts, accept the terms and conditions, and then you'll have the option to do an upgrade or a custom install if it's a new computer. I imagine you'll be able to upgrade directly from Windows 10, but I don't think you're going to be able to upgrade from Windows 7 or Windows 8. After Windows 11 installs, this is what the welcome screen will look like. Now, this may change because it is a preview build, however, do expect to select your country and your keyboard layout in a similar fashion. You will then have the option to set the computer up for personal use or for work and school and potentially enterprise. You will have to sign in with a Microsoft account, but thankfully there is an option to have an offline account, and this has been made easier than the previous version in Windows 10, which you guys know that I found very frustrating. Afterwards, you have to go through the usual terms and conditions and accepting or declining certain features that Microsoft will offer you, along with asking if you want to see tailored advertisements. Windows 11 will then do some more further configuration behind the scenes. It will take a few minutes, as it says here, but all going well, this will be the first screen you'll ever see. You may also hear this. And this is what changing volume sounds like. Speaking of which, when you first turn on your computer, this will be your new startup sound. The first thing that really caught my eye in Windows 11 was how different the Windows Explorer looks. If you're a PC user, you spend a lot of time here. It has been given a facelift with new icons and rounded corners. But don't worry, power users, you still have quick access to buttons in the menu bar, including changing how you like to view your files and folders. Multitasking has also really improved in Windows 11. Look at this new Task View button. When you press it, you can have multiple desktops, and that behaves the same way like Mission Control or Spaces in macOS. Notice how the Windows menu changes depending on which desktop you're looking at in Task View. It will only show open programs on the menu bar in that specific desktop. I wasn't able to customize Windows 11 any further due to my installation, however a dark mode does exist. Check out this image from Tom Warren at The Verge. Here you can see what dark mode looks like, along with the ability to move the start menu to the left hand side of the screen like traditional Windows. That said, I actually really do prefer the start menu in the center of the screen, because as you add more programs to it, it will automatically readjust. Searching in Windows 11 has also changed. It is no longer a search bar that was cluttering up your task manager. It is now a simple icon where you can type in commands. However, as you can see from the development version, it is not very smart. Widgets are also coming to Windows 11. However, they were not working in my version, perhaps due to the privacy settings that I've chosen. However, here's an image from Tom Warren at The Verge showing an early version of what they perhaps may look like. As you can see, it's very similar to both iOS and Android in its presentation. The Microsoft Store has also gotten a facelift in Windows 11, and I actually found it to be much more responsive than the version of Windows 10, keeping in mind I'm running this in a virtual machine. Speaking of the Microsoft Store, Xbox is a huge part of Windows 11. Xbox will be installed automatically onto every Windows 11 installation, and it places a huge emphasis around Game Pass and even Game Pass Ultimate. I can almost predict that new users of Windows 11 will be given an option to get Game Pass at discount, as Microsoft places a huge emphasis on it even during setup of your new computer. Back to multitasking, Windows 11 has some new cool tricks that will allow you to arrange windows on the desktop. By right-clicking the maximize icon, you can now add windows to corners. However, this will have to be added on a developer basis because even some Microsoft apps do not have that feature just yet. If you already learned to organize your programs in Windows 10, do not worry, as the current methods of multitasking are still there. I really like these multitasking features, and they did a much better job than macOS has so far with Big Sur. If you're a power user, you will have quick access to the Windows PowerShell by right-clicking anywhere on the desktop. However, this may be just added in for the development build. But don't worry, you will also still have access to the traditional command prompt. Not everything is perfect though. Check out Films and TV. When you select a film, it will actually open up the Microsoft Store where you're able to purchase it. Hopefully this is a wrinkle that Microsoft can fix before the full release of Windows 11. Those are the highlights. There are probably many more hidden features and new aesthetic decisions that were made under the hood. As for my own opinion, I really like Windows 11. I really like the design decisions that Microsoft went for here. They made some big swings, and I actually think they did a really good job. I like, for example, that the task manager is centered. I really felt Windows 10, the task manager got very cluttered. I really like now that search is now just an icon instead of being a search bar. That took up so much room on your task manager that you barely had any room left for programs that would fill up. And even the utility tray over here is much more smaller than my current one on Windows 10. So I really like the decisions they've made to the task manager. They've really cleaned it up. I do not think they've copied Apple here with macOS 10 and trying to recreate a dock or anything like that. I think that this is more so similar to Chrome OS, and I think Microsoft might be trying to stay competitive with Chrome OS in the lower end laptop market. Now that said, the redesign is so beautiful, even the wallpaper has changed, that I think finally Windows has a really nice operating system to go with the laptops that they now sell. Also, having spent some time with Windows 11, I'm ready to make some predictions, particularly around the minimum system requirements. Currently, Windows 10 requires you to have 1GB of RAM for 32-bit and 2GB of RAM for 64-bit. I am very ready to double that. I think you're going to need 2GB for 32-bit and 4GB for 64-bit, considering that Microsoft now has things like widgets running in the background and an emphasis on multimedia with Xbox. Now, on that note, Microsoft's minimum requirements are very minimum. I really do believe that if you're going to be running Windows 11, your computer should have at least 8GB of RAM. We are now approaching that point where it seems like most computer users should be looking for a computer to have 16GB of RAM at minimum when they go out to purchase. It's no longer, make sure it has at least 8. I think we are coming towards that point where you should probably have 16GB of RAM in your system. Now, on that note, Windows 10 currently says you just need a 1GHz processor. It doesn't mind if it's single core or dual core. Considering again that there's emphasis placed on things running in the background like widgets, I do think at this point you will need a dual core processor on your computer. I'm also happy to predict that I think if any peripherals you own or any pieces of equipment work in Windows 10, they should probably work in Windows 11, because as far as I can see, the driver model has stayed the same. There hasn't been any big changes made there. And even the virtual machine, which installs additional software to work things like the graphics card, that worked all perfectly in Windows 11, even though the virtual machine software, of course, is only designed for Windows 10. I can also tell you right now that gaming will be a huge part of Windows 11, particularly in its marketing campaign. Microsoft has to differentiate itself not just from macOS, but also Chrome OS. And the main reason why a lot of people buy Windows PCs today is gaming, and Microsoft is finally going to buy into that with Windows 11. I think they're going to be very aggressive in pushing Xbox and Game Pass with Windows 11. Not only does the Xbox app come pre-installed with your Windows 11 system, but I honestly do predict that Microsoft will offer you Game Pass for a period of time, 3 months, at extreme discount. When you buy a new Xbox Series S or Series X, you get Game Pass offered to you for €1 for 3 months, Game Pass Ultimate. And I honestly believe that when you turn on and set up your new Windows 11 system, you will be offered something very similar, if not the same. Finally, I can predict that Windows 11 will be free to Windows 10 users. I will find it very hard to believe that Microsoft charges anyone to upgrade to Windows 11, particularly if you're on Windows 10. Now, there obviously will be a fee to pay if you're on an older system like Windows 7, because you're jumping a few generations ahead. But I really find it hard to believe that Microsoft will charge a Windows 10 user to upgrade to Windows 11. I find it very hard to believe that a Windows 10 user would pay any money to upgrade to Windows 11 because all the changes here are cosmetic, again with an emphasis more around gaming. There really hasn't been any system changes that I've noticed so far. The one thing I cannot tell you is when Windows 11 is coming out. This build leaked onto the internet out of nowhere. We have no indication of when Microsoft will announce the new software package or when they'll actually release it to consumers or businesses. But my guess is, depending on how far they are in development, it should happen probably within the next year. If you guys enjoyed watching this video and you have any questions about Windows 11, do drop a comment down below and I'll be sure to answer them and get back to you. If you liked this video, do subscribe to the channel and hit the bell to stay tuned for future technology videos. I'm really happy with my last video I did about Xbox Game Pass on iPadOS and iPhone. Do be sure to check that out if you like that type of video. But other than that, I hope you guys keep well and keep safe, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye.